lazy to make a proper camera setup right now. But I was doing some work. I flipped away because I was on a WhatsApp chat, and I would rather not make that public to the entirety of the internet. But today has been decently productive. Not super productive. Let me see what I actually did. Well, hello? Oh, you piece of shit. Come on. Fuck off. Does anybody else sometimes fucking hate the Notion, like, app because it doesn't work properly? By the way, thoughts on the, like, I have a hot take that I think the Notion's acquisition of Cron, the calendar app, that was one of like the best acquisitions I've seen in a while. I think it's incredibly strategic. I think the Notion founder has his head screwed on just super well. Like I think the guy is just focused on doing stuff well. And I think like the speed of shipping that Notion has for a company of that size is really impressive. Like Notion's just such a, like as a company, they're an inspiration. I think they do a really good job. Anyway, what I was gonna say is that is my little calendar template, the to-do thing. I just filmed a video about it last week, one of those like properly edited videos. It's not like me talking in like scrappy ass lighting. But I suck at time management. I never studied in school. I got really good grades, but I basically only did that because I was really curious, and I like spent all of my time watching these when I was like 12 and 13, I'd watch these videos about like the physics of like Godzilla or like it was really stupid shit, but it was like the physics, it was like nerdy, right? The physics of this like fictional stuff or like really outlandish situations. I remember there was this book called What If, and it basically just took a bunch of like ridiculous situations and computed like what would actually happen in those situations. And like I got a lot of really good intuition, which was honestly how I excelled in school, but I never studied. I sucked at it. The only time I properly studied was for my final exams. Like the finals, you know. And even then, I did a pretty shit job of studying. I fucked off to do my own projects half the time. But anyway, this is probably the most functional template I've ever made. This has been an iteration of like, I started using a notebook maybe like 3 years ago. That started being a really big upgrade. And I got into this habit of writing just one or two things that I would focus on. And I actually realized that made me really productive because it made it just so much easier. And so this has been an iteration on that system, where the issue before was that I could only choose 1 to 2 things, but then I'd have to, every couple of days, I'd dump everything I had to do to make sure I didn't forget to do anything. Anyway, watch the video, I guess. Or if the video is shit, tell me so I make another one that's better. All right. Oh, fuck. Jesus. I changed my mind. I decided I'd actually like do it properly. Not do it, just record properly. And I was like, because I was charging my phone, that's why it was a bit of a pain in the ass to like set up the mic and stuff, because I gotta connect it to my phone. Anyway, what I was showing was this little template that, well, not template, it's just my to-do list that's organized in a calendar format instead of just a list, because this way I can drag and drop stuff really easily. And I don't tend to finish all the tasks that I have in one day. But I typically only set like 1 to 3 kind of main tasks. And then the rest are like little side things that are easier. So they're usually things that you can complete in like under half an hour. That's the kind of criteria that I have, or that don't require a lot of like concentrated effort and stuff. So that's the way I discriminate. Recently, I've been putting off this app development work like a lot. Not proud of it. I actually feel fucking awful about it. Really pissed at myself, to be honest. It's also leading to so much more stress that I could just get off my plate if I did it. But I haven't, so being a fucking idiot. It's anyway, working on that. Just working on practicing the whole, I'm getting more consistent at working through a lot of those things, and sometimes
Yeah, I fail a lot on the execution side sometimes. I think I have a lot of strengths in other things, and um, particularly on the people side of things, for example, like I think that comes to me a lot more naturally, a lot more easily. Or understanding, learning, stuff like that. I learn very, very quickly, but execution. Other updates. So I'm hiring the VA. That's a thing. I'm doing that, and it's really an experiment that I want to run. Like, part of me feels it's a little bit early to be hiring a VA because, like, I was just taking a look at the work that I have to do, and it's like, how much of this can I actually outsource? And at the end of the day, I found there's actually a lot of tasks that I don't feel comfortable outsourcing, because oftentimes it's like, okay, let's say bookings, restaurant bookings and stuff like that. What I realize is that I actually put a lot of effort into the outings that I have with my clients, with whatever, and I'll be like, okay, this client, I know he's into motorcycles and history and stuff like that, and there's this cool bar, I know he likes snooker, there's this cool bar that has, like, there's this historical thing, stuff like that. And so, like, I'll put a lot of effort into that, and that then goes a long way in developing that relationship with my client. And I don't think an assistant can do that, at least not for the budget that I have. Obviously, you know, like it's like I'm not going to pay somebody 60 grand a year to be my assistant. I can't afford that, at least not right now. But I want to experiment. I think, like, the money that I'm going to spend on the assistant makes a relatively immaterial difference to, like, the outcome of everything else, and I can take it out of my own salary, and it's like, you know, I'm fine. So it's an experiment that I want to run. Like, best case scenario, I figure out this, like, huge time saving hack super early on. Worst case scenario, I learn and spend a little bit of money, but lesson learned is better than not spending money at all. So, like, I'm fine. Yeah, I have a lot to try and get done by the end of the week, because next week a friend is coming over, and I know that I'm not going to be as productive because I'm going to want to hang out, whatever. And bear in mind, I haven't really been hanging out at all, so I've just been working. So it's like, I don't feel awful about maybe spending a week where I'm less productive, but I still will have a lot going on, namely the driving lessons, plus the calls, plus the work, plus the gym. So I have my plate full. I just wanted to front load a little bit of work from next week into this week, which is turning out to be a bit more of a struggle than I initially planned. Yeah, I think I'm an idiot for not having filmed this earlier. I should have done that. I think that would have been A, much more interesting. B, I think I talk better when I'm more awake and it's not 2 in the morning. Right now it's 2 in the morning. Yeah, what did I have to do? I wanted to, oh yeah, I'm updating so I'm upgrading the billing for my client. Actually, I can do that right now and just text and make sure. Also, this VA lady seems super on top of it. It is technically not in her working hours right now. It's like the morning for her, and she doesn't really work around this time usually. So for our arrangement, she would do 4 hours a day on weekdays. But she's, like, setting up the accounts and stuff. So she's hungry. She scheduled the first slot. I mentioned in the previous video, whatever. I should have recorded something yesterday. I was stupid for not doing that. I had a super busy day yesterday. I had, like, something like 5 driving lessons, 6 calls, and I was just back and forth. And for context, I'm trying to finish this driver's lessons ASAP, and so I'm just, like, going stupid hard at it. And I honestly wasn't even that tired by the end of the day. I do enjoy moving around a lot. I enjoy the chaos. I enjoy that stuff. The things that tire me out the most are, like, probably solo work. It's actually, that doesn't tire me out. It just makes me feel shit if I just work by myself for, like, too long in complete isolation. Okay. How do I... Payments? I'm using Stripe, which I haven't always been billing through Stripe, so I'm not super familiar with the system. But I basically, there's a client which right now is on, it's the smallest retainer that we have is $1,500 a month. And I basically said I'm gonna put them on 2.5 grand because our other projects are bigger, and I basically want to hit certain LTV goals, and I will not hit that goal at their retainer size their existing retainer size. And actually at 2.5 grand a month, I'm still not really hitting it, but it's a step, right? Like the whole point is that at least every month I'm taking a step toward that goal and stuff. How the fuck do I change a subscription? I'm a developer who can build applications, but I can't figure out how to update a fucking Stripe subscription. I love this. Subscriptions. Yes. Actions. Update subscription. Update subscription. Okay, 1,500 a month. Can we edit? Can we edit this? Is that okay? Add product. Oh. Okay, confirm. I'm also going to text my client because I'm not going to be a dick about it. And I'm going to say, hey, Jenna. Just to let you know and confirm, I've updated the price on the Stripe subscription to the 2.k as mentioned. Thanks again for your support. It has genuinely been incredibly valuable to me. I can't thank you enough. You're awesome. No? Should I do that? I don't know. Why do I work at 2 a.m. sometimes? Like, I can focus better, but then also I feel like sometimes I make stupid decisions or whatever. Genuinely being incredibly valuable. I can't thank you enough. You're awesome to work with. Okay, there we go. 2.5. Reset billing cycle. Generate an invoice immediately. No. Prorate charges. No, don't prorate charges. That's it. Automatically charge bills on 26 Jan for month. Okay, nice. Update subscription. Cool. Nice. So that's that. I mean, ideally, I'm wanting to get every client to like retainers that are in the 5-figure range or like just below that. In development work, that's not a huge amount. Like maybe that sounds like a lot, but your development costs are also very high because you got to hire good developers and those are expensive. And so if you want to run, healthy margins, it takes money to hire the really good developers. Yeah, like I'm slowly trying to, well, like there's two things I have to do. I have to cut out clients who cannot afford those kinds of retainers, or slowly push up prices, and so that's what I'm doing. Thing is, I would, at least this is my current thinking, is it's going to be better to do that drastically than to try and basically up everyone onto that kind of retainer size when they're not adjusted to that kind of, they're not acclimatized to those prices. And the issue is actually a lot with the kind of the client size that I'm working with is generally perhaps maybe too small. So the work that we do for them does not justify. Like you can't save a company you can't save a company 30 grand in expenses if they're not spending 30 grand in the first place. It's physically impossible. That's probably one of the downsides of of running a kind of development agency, is that it is not a marketing or revenue generating thing. It is a cost center, and that has its disadvantages, but it's like part of the reason I wanted to do development and specifically focus on startups is because like I get to basically practice the skill set and walk the walk of building products continuously and iterating and seeing like what do the best startups do, what are the best in class products doing. Like I get to I get to study effectively like product development, product design, because that's literally my job, is to like get inspired by other products, see how other people are doing it, and also figure out how to build and prototype stuff faster. So something that we've been doing for our clients is like our first project took us a lot longer to build the infrastructure and stuff like that. And then to make feature additions, it maybe took, let's say it took 2 weeks to build something out. In our latest project, that same feature, we can build that in 2 days because we've built the infrastructure in such a way where maintenance is way easier, where things are like better structures and things like that. And so that's a really exciting part of kind of doing this. I think part of me is like curious to work on like more deep tech stuff and dabble in fancier cutting edge technology, but I think that's just the shiny object syndrome and like the little curious kid in me wanting to dabble. And I think, if I find some spare time, sure, but the main thing is I have to first just be the best at doing this stuff that I'm doing right now, was just focusing on web apps and stuff, not trying to do like AR, VR, all the buzzwords. Although we would make AI stuff. I think AI stuff is like, it's not too hard, unless you're talking about like proprietary AI tech where you need some you need like 3 PhD guys from Cambridge. We're not at that caliber, but if you want to build an AI app that's effectively like a GPT wrapper with a couple customizations, I think this is stuff that we'd like to dabble in. I think just because of the AI hype right now, it would be smart to get involved in that. Other things to talk about that I wanted to. So I think I probably want to try and film 2 more videos of I'm uploading everything into the same channel, and so it might look a little bit weird, but there are these vlogs which are really just, it's a video diary effectively, right? I think it'll be fun to look back on and see the way I'm thinking and doing things now, and maybe how that evolves, how that changes. I'd be curious to see kind of the flaws and stuff like that. And then there's the other side of like kind of trying to go after the way content is made, where it's like it's edited and you do it to capture people's attention, and you're trying to provide value, but you have to do a little bit of the theatric work of playing the YouTube game or whatever game you want to play. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's part of it. That's just how the world works, and it's how our brains work. Our brains respond to bright colored thumbnails and shit like that, so that's fine. But I want to record probably two more videos for that, because that would be for this week and next week. Yeah, because I've got an editor who does 1 long form a week for me. But now that I think about it, if I want to publish these vlogs, I don't know if I'm going to edit them myself, or like just hire some guy for like $15 to literally just, I mean, if it's as simple as making a few cuts, I could probably do it myself. No, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to bother with setting up iMovie, doing all that shit. I don't know. Man. I wonder if, like, what do I even need to do? Who knows? Anyway, I need to sort that out. Potentially speak with my editor and see, like, how much can I, how much would I have to pay him extra to just be able to send him these vlogs basically on a daily basis and just have him upload shit. Maybe, yeah, if he could upload these for me, that would be such a good addition. No, probably do that myself. I don't know. Anyway, I want to spend more time documenting. That's a big goal of mine this year. In fact, my goals this year are building content, documenting, niching the agency down into something a little bit more specific. Right now, I think we're too broad. We have like a niche as far as like products, like stage and stuff, but we didn't niche in terms of, we haven't niched super specifically into any type of development. And one of the things that we are doing is niching into a type of development. So like React, Node, those applications built with that kind of tech stack. Now, if you're non-technical, that doesn't matter. And we can effectively just build a web app, and what's under the hood doesn't matter as much. But for working with larger companies, larger clients, they might care about the tech stack that we use. And I just want to focus on what we're best at. Yeah, I want to build more prototypes, build distribution, so spend more time with interesting people and interesting places. So like kind of developing my network and the, like I already have a pretty decent network of people who do very interesting things, and but I think I want to grow that. Buy more gifts for people. That's a goal that I have. I think I put a number on it. What was it? Yeah. I want to buy more than 40 gifts for people this year. And I don't mean like Christmas gifts and birthday gifts. I just mean like random, spontaneous gifts and cards. And so like basically just appreciate people more. I think that would be nice. I wrote a card for my client when I met him the other day in Lisbon. And he said that he had just had a really bad week, and actually that card was really helpful. And like, you never know what people are going through, and just like, a card can be so simple. You can literally write 30 words, and those 30 words can mean so much for somebody. I was having a conversation with a friend about this physics teacher who I left my school very abruptly. Basically, didn't say bye to anybody because I thought I'd be back in a month, and then because of COVID, I never went back because I had to change. Whatever, it's a long story, but I got uprooted from my school when I was like 16. And moved to a different school with like basically zero warning, and that fucked with me a lot. And then I basically said bye to, like, I sent emails to say bye to my teachers, because this is a school that was relatively small. I had built up relationships with all these people, and like it was small enough. It was something like 800 people, but the teachers, it was a very close community, and I was a very good student, and so I had like built a lot of relationships with these teachers and stuff like that, a lot of goodwill, whatever. And I sent an email to a couple teachers just saying like, bye, I guess I'm leaving. And I hadn't seen them in person in a long time. So I sent out this email to a couple teachers, and I can't remember if any other of them replied, but this one physics teacher of mine, he sent back an email that, it was what, like fucking 2 lines. And it was something along the lines of, it has been such a pleasure working with you and teaching you. You have been one of the best physics students I have ever had. Thank you for all the great times. Like, it's been like 4 years since I had that. No, 3 years. And like to this day, I think about that, and that email makes me so happy. And then when I was having this conversation with my friend, I realized like, I don't know if I could do that for somebody else, but if I give 40 presents a year, and like part of that is writing more cards. So if I gift a card, that counts. Um, I don't know who I could do that for, but just the fact that might exist, I think is really nice, and so I'd like to do that for more people. And the relationships you can build through stuff like that they are so incredible, because I mean, and this is why I don't count like Christmas gifts and stuff like that, because those are somewhat expected, right? Like you won't get that feeling from like a birthday card, because it's like I get why you're doing it. It's like a socially expected thing. Speaking of which, I'm fucking awful at birthdays, but when you do it unexpectedly, like that's when it's worth so much more. Yeah, those are some of the goals I have for this year. I suppose it's relatively appropriate to share in kind of January. It's still early enough. What do I have to do tomorrow? I have to message a contact that somebody passed me for this. I'm getting recruited for this kind of consulting type of thing that would happen over the summer for these 2 months. And it would be an in-person thing, full-time. And I get flown out, paid accommodation, and then obviously a consulting fee as well, kind of thing. But in a preparation for that, we have to schedule a couple interviews and stuff, and I have to figure out I have to schedule some interviews before like the 31st. Honestly, I have to figure out how the fuck I'm going to pull that off, because I've left it to the last minute, and that's my fault for being an idiot, but I have that to do. I want to buy Huel, which I've kept putting off. I have this Obsidian list of notes. Obsidian is just a notes app. And it's just this long ass document where I've just been dumping random thoughts and stuff, and I haven't cleaned it out in a while. Like every once in a while I'll go through that document and clean it out, sort those different thoughts and ideas into the different places I keep everything. Review videos done by something. Oh, I want to buy the gift for this friend who's coming. So I want to do that. I read The 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent, or it's about 50 Cent, kind of. I don't know if it's not about him, but it's like, and I don't think it's co-written, but whatever. Anyway, search up the book. Really good book. 48 Laws of Power, I think, is one of the best books I've ever read. Just because I think it's just a lot of like truth, and not all of the laws are applicable at all times. And I think it's important to read that book very critically, and also understand it's not necessarily evil. Yeah, but Robert Greene, I like his work. Only his books, though. I tried watching his YouTube videos. The guy's incredibly boring to watch. I could not sit through it. But as an audiobook, fucking love it. Anyway, I read that book, and there was this one chapter that just talked through the way that 50 handled some of his life situations and stuff. And I had some reflections about like, okay, how can I apply that same frame of thought to my life and some of the things I'm going through and working on or whatever. So there's that. I want to add QuickBooks integration into this thing that I'm doing for one of my clients. That'd be nice. Driving lessons, recording the videos that I mentioned. I got to do like 2 of those before next week, hopefully, ideally. And the fucking app development stuff, which I have managed to keep putting off. I also want to buy a gift for somebody but I need to think about that. And I also need to plan the week, 28th. So with my friend, I want to maybe go out a little bit more. I'll take pictures and then I'll just add them here, because I don't necessarily want to film there and like just be filming stuff constantly. I don't know, maybe in future I'll do that. But right now whatever. I'll take pictures and then just like throw them up on screen, or ask my editor to help me out with that. And yeah, I think that's basically the plan for the rest of the week. Yeah. Oh, I also have to do the fucking design work. Where did that go? Where's the design work? Why is it not on my to-do list? That's very concerning. That's not very good. Design. Design revisions. That's when I paddle. So there's the client that's associated with Ronaldo and this Singaporean billionaire. I would really like to sign them, and they want some revisions on these demo designs that I made for them. And I'm gonna do up those revisions and basically send those over, hopefully win that, and we'll see how it goes, whatever. That's pretty much it. I'll try and film more of tomorrow rather than just filming the end of the day and like giving some kind of weekly update, which I think is a little bit shit. Speaking of which, did I do my weekly? I keep these weekly updates, and actually I'll take you through exactly what I put in one of these weekly updates so that you can get an idea. Okay, so I basically ask myself 6 questions on a weekly basis, and I'll put this in my calendar, and I'll basically, I'll answer this, and I'll be like, okay, what are the things that gave me the most energy? What drained the most energy? What should I say no to? And what will that allow me to say yes to? I want to break down those 4 first, just because I think that it's like they're on one tangent. But they do help me to, this forces me to just think about, what did I actually spend my time on during the week, and what did I waste my time on? And I think the biggest, maybe before I might have set weekly goals and things like that, I think what should I say no to has been the most important question I've been asking myself. What gave me energy, drained my energy, it just helps me understand maybe the stuff that I'm naturally, inclined toward, the stuff that saps my energy and stuff, and it's how do I keep myself in better condition for more performance effectively. But what should I say no to helps me actively, most of the time if we're not getting stuff done, it's not because we're not doing enough, it's because we're doing the wrong things. And it's actually things that we have to cut out, not new things that we have to do. The solution to being more productive is not adding a 17th step to your 16-step morning routine, but it's cutting down on 15 steps and having just one, and then doing work, right? At least this is the belief that I hold. Now, that question, what should I say no to, helps me keep that frame of mind of being what do I need to actually cut out? That's bloating my day and clouding my vision. Then I will just focus on 1 to 3 goals for next week. So, yeah. And then I will be I'll just think about who's someone I appreciated or met this week. And that's just a relationship thing. I don't actually communicate that. Maybe I should. Maybe that should be 40 gifts, that's a little under a gift a week. So maybe I should start that. But some of them are virtual. I don't like giving virtual gifts. They feel half-assed. I don't know. Anyway, who's someone I appreciated it's just nice to think about that stuff. 1 to 3 goals for the week. I'd say this is probably a bit of a failure as a question, because I will write down a goal, but then I will not translate that into any actionables. And then I don't actually end up looking at these reflections actively, So that's a little bit of a flawed system, but nonetheless, it is the system that I have. It's still good to reflect one way or another. Oh, 30, right. I'm trying to hit this LTV goal. I'm trying to grow my LTV. And I was just thinking about that earlier, and I was realizing the numbers that I'm quoting and stuff like that, they're probably halfway there. If I look at lifetime spend, just for context, my current retainers at the moment will not get me there at all, especially given the average. So the thing that I want to increase is my average project duration and my retainer size. What I realize is that for me to bring my retainer size to what it would need to be in order to, right now my average project duration is something like 3 months, and I want to extend that because then it puts less pressure on the retainer value to be as high, so I can still hit that LTV, right? Because I hold them for 6 months. Let's say I want to make a 30 grand LTV. Instead of charging them 10 grand a month for 3 months, I can just charge them 5 grand a month for 6. And holding projects over a longer time, doing maintenance, stuff like that, a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, and then I want to service 20 clients this year. Last year we did, how many did we do? Like 8. Development clients are obviously, fulfillment is not as, you can't scale fulfillment as linearly and easily, but I want to, scale fulfillment while not losing a drop of quality. Yeah, I'm really hoping my assistant can help me with scheduling new meetings with the right people. I think that's a big thing which I'm looking forward to. And I'd probably give her kind of my LinkedIn and stuff like that, and then from there she can email people, find people, and recommend people I should reach out to, try and connect with, and that would be really, really good if I could start doing that. There are like automation tools as well. And if you could make the argument, oh, why are you going to get a VA to do it when you could just like scrape a list? I actually don't want her to message people. I want her to tell me the people who are the most interesting based on this kind of criteria. And I'd probably do some of this work as well, but there's some, development work I can't outsource to my VA, but she can maybe point out some of the people that I have most connections to and whatever, and then I can try and find what they like, whatever, get warm introductions, and I don't know. It's all a little bit of work in progress. I have to sit down. I'll probably start with this VA like next week, so I will give updates then and see how it goes. Anyway, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm not gonna do any more work today. I'm glad I at least recorded this though, rather than like not recording anything at all, so that's one more day in the books. And then I'm gonna work on a system to get these uploaded on a daily basis, because right now, like over the past 3 days, I've built a little bit of a backlog of like recordings that I haven't published. And they're separated obviously into like a few cuts, right? Because I'll do several recordings a day, at least in the other one. So I'm fiddling with this key so much. I fiddle like a maniac. It's annoying sometimes, but that's me. I suppose it comes with the whole like lack of attention span territory thing, but that's just my generation. And I'm pretty fixated on changing that, and I think I've become a whole of a lot better. Like where I am now, I can do a whole lot more work than where I probably was, maybe 2-3 years ago. So slowly but surely improving. But you got to keep changing. One thing that was, you just gotta be open to the fact that like you will find something that works, and that thing that works may stop working, and you will have to just change to something else, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like there's people who tell me like, oh, I have this problem and I've tried to solve it, but I haven't. And I'm like, okay, so what else are you gonna do? Like, are you just gonna stop trying to solve it? Are you just gonna give up for the rest of your life and just accept that you're gonna live with a handicap? I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. Because like, you might as well try and fix it. If it's something that you need to fix that like is a direct impediment to the goals that you want. Now, if let's say that like, if it's not an impediment to what you want to do, then obviously you don't care about it. You don't necessarily need to solve it. But if it is, then yeah, for me, like I have to be better at execution on like a more regular, simple, daily basis, small tasks kind of stuff. So that's just probably the biggest thing that I have work to do on. But yeah, like hard work is not the way you win though. I think that's an important fallacy to not conflate, like, because there's plenty of people who may not necessarily, like there is a correlation, but there's not a causation relationship. People conflate the two a lot. Anyway, that's a wrap for today.